The National, where people go to buy, sell, and trade cards. And this year's National is at Rosemont, Illinois, July 29th to August 2nd, 2026. And the question that people need to ask themselves is who should go to the National this year? Because the hobby has changed. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Boy, that is a long VIP line. Last year they literally had probably around 250,000 people, and that was the VIP line. Can you imagine what the line was for just regular admission? So the question that we have in this video is who should go to the National Convention this year, especially given Fanatics Fest just wrapped up, and that was a sports spectacular if anyone had ever seen one. And now the influencers who are all paid by Fanatics, let's be very clear about this, every single influencer is getting paid by Fanatics, so they are never going to tell you the truth. They're going to tell you what they're paid to tell you. Therefore, you can no longer trust them. And one thing that's different about this channel, if you're not subscribed yet, is that I am 100% independent. I don't get paid by any of the manufacturing card companies, grading companies, or anybody else that's trying to rip you off in this hobby. So if you're not subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button. Anyway, that's the question. Who should go to the National? Should you go, the collector, or should you just let the flippers and the people who are new to this hobby go and overpay for cards? So that's what we're going to discuss in this video. And the reason is because I am trying to move or transition my, PC, my mini hoard that I have left, from stuff that I have into stuff that I want, and at minimum pay the least amount of cash for it, because I already have sunk costs into the stuff that I have, and maybe a lot of you are in the same position. You have money you've spent for cards, and there may be stuff that you want, and you're looking at the stuff you have, and you're like, I don't want any of this stuff. How do I trade that stuff for that stuff? So here's what I want to suggest. First of all, if you're trying to sell stuff, like if you have a bunch of collection, and I want to make this clear, anything before 2000, if you have stuff after 2000, just go to eBay. That's the best place to sell it. But if you have cards, memorabilia, autographs, baseballs, bats, uncut sheets, anything before the year 2000, I want you to get in contact with me over on Instagram, IG, and this is what I'm going to do. I want to showcase the stuff that you have on this channel. Yes, you're going to come on, we're going to show off your stuff that you want to either trade or sell, and that way maybe we can build a community here of collectors who can actually get rid of stuff. Because right now, one of the biggest problems we have in this hobby is that there really isn't any community. We have all of these digital platforms. We've got eBay, we've got Veriswap, we've got like a whole bunch of other places. My Card Post I've seen, you got My Slabs, like there's a whole bunch of places. But the problem is there's no community. There's no place to actually talk to another collector and say, hey, this is what I've got. What do you got? Can we trade or make some kind of deal? You can't even make a three-way deal because in all honesty, that might be what we need is three-way deals. Just like the NBA, where you send something to this guy, that guy sends it to that guy, and then that guy sends you the thing that you want. Because You just want to unload the stuff you have. You're looking for other stuff, and that person may not want what you have, but they want what someone else has. So you got to kind of move it all around. It's kind of like hokey pokey of baseball cards. My point being is that the reason that I'm giving these suggestions in this video is because if you're looking at going to the National in order to either sell or trade your stuff, you're going to be out of luck. In fact, you're going to get there and you're going to be really, really disappointed. And the reason is because the market has gone so far off the rails. Yes, all of the card prices are beyond what they're really worth. That doesn't mean that's not what someone will pay for them, but that also means as a collector, you're kind of screwed. Now, if you're just looking to get cash price for it, in some cases, you're going to be okay. But that only means if you have the top 20 players that are just, that's it. It's the top 20 names in the hobby. And if you have those players, you're going to be able to get enough cash that you'll be okay with it, because the card prices have gone beyond what they're really worth. And so then 80% of comps actually gives you 100% of what the cards are worth. Again, the cards have gone beyond what they're actually worth, so dealers will give you full price for what the card is actually worth right now. So if you're just looking to sell, that means Mantle, Mays, Aaron, rookie cards of anybody really, Ricky Henderson, Mike Schmidt, like that's where you're going to be able to make the most money. But if you don't have any of that stuff, like if you just have regular stuff, even just Hall of Famers, again, not the rookie cards. So like if you have Reggie Jackson and Carl Yastrzemski and all the major guys like Raleigh Fingers and Louis Tion and, any of the Yankees from the 1970s, you're just not going to get very much money. In fact, you're going to get pennies on the dollar because the hobby has basically consolidated. It's the top 20 names and that's it. And if it's not graded, dealers are going to screw you over. It's the way it is. I can complain all I want, but that would just be an old man on the lawn, complaining into the atmosphere. No one cares. No one cares what I think. No one cares what I have to say. I'm just giving you the truth. The hobby right now is going to take advantage of you if you want to sell your cards. Again, outside of the top 20 names. So the problem being is if you're a collector, what do? The only way to fix that situation is you have to trade with other collectors. The problem is that the National, it's not going to be anybody that you can trade with. This hobby is rapidly changing. I did see another video on YouTube. I want to do a react to it, but it's sort of like, I don't think anybody in my audience likes watching react videos. If you do, put a comment down below, let me know. But there was another channel that did a whole analysis of the Pokemon, basically speculation, because Pokemon cards have gone up beyond anything anyone ever saw. 3,000% increase in value over the last basically 15 years. So if you had bought a card, 15 years ago, it is now worth 3,000% more than it used to be. And so that's the point. And the baseball card market hasn't done, or the sports card market more specifically, hasn't done that kind of hockey stick, but it is close. It's probably about 1,000% more. So Pokemon has gone, way more than anything else, but sports have also gone through the roof. When you think about your cards, they're not going to stay at that level for the rest of time. So here's what I want to do. I want to let Grant Rideau from YouTube, I'm going to leave a link down to the video here. Let him explain what happened with the tulip market so that you understand what's going on with the sports card market right now.
To you, these might seem like a random bunch of flowers, but really, these tulips can teach us more about economics than any book. Tulips first arrived in Europe in the late 1500s and they quickly became a luxury good. By 1633, a single rare bulb was worth more than an entire house on the most luxurious canal in Amsterdam. But why? You see, tulips are unique in the fact that they start out as bulbs. So instead of just buying flowers to enjoy them, you could now buy the bulbs, store them as the prices went up, and then sell them at a higher price later on. But this all relies on the steady increase in price. Which brings me to this chart. When tulips were first introduced, they were practically worthless. But as time went on and they kept importing them from the Ottoman Empire, they became a luxury item. And as their price began to increase, it wasn't just professional growers buying and selling the tulips anymore. Additionally, middle class and poor Dutch families started piling their money into these tulips, thinking it was their opportunity to make a quick profit. Some of these families took out loans against their house, their business, their estate, all to buy these bulbs. There was no intention to plant these in the ground or enjoy them. It was all a game of how fast could you buy one and then sell it to somebody else for more than you paid. But almost overnight, buyers stopped showing up to the auction, causing some fear in the market, which led to a complete collapse of the tulip prices, taking with it most people's entire life savings.
Back in the 80s, the same thing happened. Maybe you remember this card. Now, I made a little documentary video on my channel if you want to go watch it. It's Adventures in Sports Cars. There's 4 episodes. And I burnt one of these Greg Jeffries rookie cards. And the reason that I'm bringing that up now is because the same thing happened in the sports card hobby back in the 80s during the original boom. So I have all of these Greg Jeffrey rookie cards. In fact, I got way more in one of my boxes. And the point being is that everybody back in the 80s was just buying as many cards as they can because prices were just going up every single month. And people thought, oh my God, this is the way I can get rich. And then unfortunately what happened is the sports card market went down. And everybody kind of lost a lot of money. And that's sort of what happened again back in the pandemic. So card prices were going up in 2019, 2020, 21, and then all of a sudden at the end of 2022, the market crashed again. In fact, we saw prices go down around 85%. I had a lot of people on my channel at that time saying that I didn't know what I was talking about, except that it did happen. And I told you it was going to happen. So what's going to happen in the future? And what does that have to do with the National if you're going? And this is where this question of who should go to the National is so important, because if you're watching right now and you're going, I don't want to miss out. The National's this big convention and I didn't go to Fanatics Fest. Should I go to the National, or which one should I go to? This is where you need to be very careful. Right now, the sports card market is going parabolic. I'm not here to deny reality. I'm here to just tell you the truth. And because it's going through the roof, this is what you need to know. Prices cannot sustain themselves at this level for all eternity. They just can't. They can't stay at this level. And the problem, just like the tulip market, is that you need someone on the back end to pay more than you paid for the card, which at this point is more like a hope and a prayer. You're buying it with the hope that someone will want to spend more than you, but the prices are already making you get nervous. And that's when you have to start to stop and think, wait a minute, if I think that this is a lot of money, isn't everyone else going to say the same thing? And that's the difference between where you have a healthy market and a market that's about to crash, because for the last basically 6 months, prices have been going up steadily. Okay, that's fine. So a Shohei Ohtani rookie card was at the beginning of the year about $500. Now it's $1,000. Okay, but how much more could the base rookie card go before people start to go, I think this is probably too much for a base rookie card? And that's what you should be thinking about when you go to the National. So who should go? So let's get to that answer. Personally, I think that if you're new to this hobby, you should go to the National. It is an experience. I've never been to one, but I hear from a ton of collectors, it's the party of the season. I mean, if you love cards and you love this hobby, the National is the place to be. You're going to meet all of the influencers. You're going to meet everybody that you want to see. So if that's what you want to do, that's the place to go. The problem is that if you're a real collector, which is majority of the people that are subscribed to this channel, the National is not the place for you anymore. It used to be where all the collectors used to go, but now because the hobby has turned over into this new gambling ring, the collectors are kind of out in the cold, and therefore we need to find someplace else to communicate, to trade, and to sell our cards. And that's sort of why I wanted to make this video. It's because I'm not sure what that is. Now, I've been talking to other people in the hobby, behind the scenes to try to figure out what are other people thinking and doing. And there is another website that I was told about. I don't want to release it out here on my channel yet because I haven't really done the vetting of it. But if I do go through it and I think it's something worthwhile, I will let you know. But that's my point. The person that should go to the National is someone who isn't really concerned about the price of cards. If you're trying to buy cards and you don't care how much you pay for them, go to the National because you're going to pay a pretty dollar. That's all I'm going to tell you. You're going to overpay for every single card at the National. There's going to be no good deals. And I know that's hard to hear because that's not what the National has always been historically. At the National, there's always been the opportunity to make a good deal and find cards you can't find anywhere else because this is the largest convention of card collectors in the world. That means people are coming from all over the globe to try and trade and sell their cards. So if you're looking for that rare, T206 or that 1948 Leaf card that you can't find on eBay, you're going to find it at the National. The problem is that people are going to charge 100 to 200% of comps because the card prices are just going through the roof. And that's the unfortunate truth of where we are right now. What does that mean for the future? Well, we got to go back to the tulip example that Grant Rideau did with his YouTube channel. At some point, and that might be in 2027 because that's sort of where it looks like we're going. As the housing market crashes at the end of this year, finally that's what's going to happen. I think the sports card market's going to go with it. And if anybody is thinking, well, I don't know what I'm talking about, just be aware that the Pokemon market is already seeing some softening. In fact, people are transitioning out of Pokemon and moving more towards Magic. And that's not me saying that, that's the market saying that. So how much can the sports card market be reflective of what's happening with Pokemon? Again, sports hasn't gone up 3,000% like Pokemon has, but it has gone up significantly. And so can it sustain those values? And the real answer is yes, as long as there's someone else on the back end who's going to pay for your cards. And the problem is that once this economy actually starts to go down, and I know I've been saying that for a long time in this channel, but I can only look at the fundamentals, and the fundamentals of this economy are just, they're not propped up on anything other than the stock market. And the stock market has continued to go up. But Bitcoin has lost 50% of its value. So all of those crypto bros, they don't have any more money left. When people don't have disposable income, that means they're not buying tickets. That means they're not buying cards. And that means you're left holding all of these cards that are now worth nothing. And that's not what I want. I want you to have a collection that you love, that you value, and that other people are willing to trade back and forth for it. So before I go, I want to let everybody know I'm looking for one item right now, a 1973 Topps Complete set. If you have a complete set for the 1973 set, please let me know. Contact me over on Instagram at EDI Sports Cards. I want to know if there's anything that I have that you want so we can make a trade. If you're in the Phoenix area, please let me know and we can meet and actually do this deal in person so we don't have to deal with shipping. But other than that, I hope that you enjoyed this video. As always, this is Doc saying, I'll see you in the next one.